Hello everyone, welcome to Programming Pool channel. In this video, I will talk about variables. Variables are the core concept in a programming board, and every programming language that I'm aware of, it has variables. So if you grasp it in the concept in one language, it will be easy for you to learn it in other languages. So watch the video carefully and practice and learn from it. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you will not miss any upcoming videos. So first, let's explain what variables are. Variables are the names you give to the computer memory location which are used to store values in a computer program. Every variable has its own name and it must be unique in one scope. And I will explain that when we do the coding part in this video. And the variable has a type too and a value, and this variable will be stored somewhere in the memory. For example, if you want to store a value like number 5 and you want to use them later in the program, for example, you type int num assignment operator 5. I just want to mention that this equal sign is not in the programming as an equal, it is assignment operator. Equal in the programming is double assignment operator. Okay, so the type here is int, the name is num, the assignment operator is equal, and value is 5. So this variable that you created, it is stored somewhere in the memory. Now the variable types. So in Java, we have two groups of variables. First one is primitives, and the second one is non-primitives. So the primitive data type include boolean, char, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. The size of primitive variable type is showing in this table. So boolean is 1 bit, and bit is the smallest unit of a computer information or a computer memory. It is a single binary data type. That means it will accept either 0 or 1. And byte contains 8 bits. Okay? Now, boolean is 1 bit, char is 2 byte, byte is 1 byte, short is 2 bytes, int is 4 bytes, long is 8 bytes. So if we notice that the size is different between variable type, okay? So that being said, it will accept the value bigger than the smallest size. So now you're asking the question why we have different type of variables and with different sizes. Why we don't have only one size that has like 8 bytes or bigger. So that's like wrong, because once you have a big program that has thousands of lines of code or like even hundreds of thousands, then if you don't need like big numbers, you only know you want small numbers, so you will use like 1 byte of memory to create the variables. So that means it will save memory, computer memory. That being said, you will save money. Now, if you want to print the size of primitives, you can use the output statement system.out.println with the string explaining what it is, and you can use this arithmetic operation byte, and this is the object byte dot size, which is the constant that we can access in the object byte, and divided by 8. So because 1 byte is 8 bits as we mentioned before. Okay, and then you will print it to the console, and I will show you and print them out in the console later in the code part. Now we can do some examples by creating the primitives like boolean bool true, char c equals single quote a, if you notice, is single quote. Okay, so when we do string, it will be different, and I will show you that. Short, number one is 5, byte, it is 4, and so on. Okay, if you notice, when you create float equals 5.4, and we put f in it. And why is that? If you create 5.4 only, it will automatically read it as a double. That means it's different variable type, and that will throw an error. So we are confirming that this number we want it as a float. We can fix that by casting, something called cast, and I will show you how you can do this operation by like if you want to assign a different type to another type, you can cast it so it will accept that, and I will show you examples in the coding part. Now let's move to the second variable type, which is non-primitives. The non-primitive data type include string, objects, classes, interfaces, and arrays. In this video, I will talk only about string because I will have a whole video about objects and classes, interfaces, and arrays later in the course. Okay. Now, string, what is a string? In Java, string is basically an object that represents a sequence of char values. An array of characters works same as Java string. For example, if you create an array and you see like the square brackets indicate that this is an array, and we are initialize it Java, which is Java. If we create a string object, all right, it will be the same as when we say string equals double quote, and if you notice here we have single quote for char, and in string we have double quote, and this is the difference. All right, now what is the difference between a primitive and non-primitive type? Primitive type are predefined, already defined in Java. Non-primitive types are created by the programmer and is not defined by Java except for string. So predefined, that means this int, for example, is primitive. It is already in there in the programming language, so you don't have to create it or define the type of it. It's int. It's integer, real number, right? Whereas in non-primitive, like for example, array of like int, array uh, of like strings, array of doubles, it's different. All right. Now, second difference is non-primitive types can be used to call methods to perform a certain operations, while primitive types cannot. And I will show you an example. Like string, we can do some methods and operations through the, if you create like, for example, I'll give you a string. If we go back to this example, string s equals Java. So if we under like s of this string, we can do some operations. Okay, and I will show you an example, but we can say like, okay, s, if we press dot, then it will show you a list of operations. For example, we can change all Java letters here to uppercase or to lowercase, or like to compare between this string to another. So there are some methods we can operate on this string, okay? Whereas if we create a primitive type, we can't do that. There is no methods. The third difference is a primitive type has always a value, while non-primitive types can be null. So if we create a variable and assign it, and like if we create a primitive variable and assign it a null value, this will throw an error. Where so we have to give it a value always in order to make it work. Whereas if we create a string and assign it to null, that will work fine. The fourth and the last one that I will say, a primitive type starts with a lowercase letter, while a non-primitive type starts with an uppercase letter. Now, if we can look at the previous variables that we created, int, it has lowercase, whereas string, which is non-primitive type, has uppercase. Now let's go to the IDE and code some examples. Now open your IntelliJ IDE. Last time we worked with Hello World a project. In this video, I will create a new project. I will call it learn underscore Java. And every time you create a new project, it's good idea to start the project at least one time or to run it one time. So you will see everything compiles fine and no errors occurs when you write the code. Okay, so everything is good. Now let's clean the code that is written by default. I just want to mention something about we have, if we type backslash backslash and type something after it in one line, and this is called a comment. This comment is very useful when you want to document your code. If you want to do one line comment, you can do backslash backslash. Whereas if you want to do multiple lines, do backslash shift number 8, which is a star, then close it by star backslash. Okay, and in between you can press enter. So you will can do the comments in multiple lines. I will copy and paste some code. So I created the 8 primitive types: boolean, char, like short, byte, and int, long, float, and double. All right, let's start by the first one. The first one is boolean value, which it takes only true or false, false or true. All right, if you assign it another type that it will not take it, it will throw an error. All right. The second one is char or character. Uh, it will take single quote, one character, then a single quote again, the closing quote. If you put if you put one or three, it will take it as a character. If you put dot, it will take it as a character. If you put equal, it will put a character. If you type two characters, it will throw an error. This is too many characters. This is a string, okay? And it will show you convert to string literal as a suggestion, okay? And actually, if you're gonna talk about the ASCII code to character, all right, and ASCII is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. A, it is a number, all right? It is actually a number. And if you go to the website that shows you the table of the ASCII code, and I will share the link with you guys. And if you go where the A in character is, in decimal, and then decimal value is 97, all right? And B is 98, and so for a capital letter, okay, it is 65. All right, start from 65 and move on. And there is a lot of other values. I will share the link. You can take a look in it on your own time. Now let's run the code. So for character, it will print an A, right? Now if we print, you want to print it as an int num equals C, or you can do it like A, all right? Now S out, plus num. Now let's run the code. Now you see here int character is 97. All right. Now let's move to other one, short data type, which is a real number. Byte is a real number too. Int is a real number. Long is a real number. All right. And the difference between those data type is the size of the memory. All right, as we mentioned before. Like for short is 2 bytes, for int is 4 bytes, for byte is 1 byte. All right, for long is 8 bytes. All right, now we have the decimal numbers are float and double. Float has 4 bytes of size, a double has 8 bytes of size. All right. Now, if you notice again, the f at last of the value, and if we remove it, our arrow show you the provided value is double and the required type is float. So by default, when you create a float and put it as 5.4, it will throw an error. So you have to either fix the error by adding float, so you will confirm or assert that the value you want to be float, or you can do something called casting, which you put a bracket and bracket. Now put float, then it will work fine again. Now we can run the code. You'll see that we don't have any errors. All right. Now let's see the case when we create the same variable name in the same scope. If you put double number double equals assignment operator 5.3. Now if we hover over it, it will show you that number double is already defined in the scope. So you can't create the same variable name in the same scope. The scope means in between those two brackets. And because we are writing our code under like main method, so the scope is between two brackets. Now, if we cut the variable and created the variable under a class scope, which is between those two brackets, it will not throw an error because you are in different scope now. All right. Now, if we wanna assign one value to other value, like for example, if we put int, all right, number for 12 equals, like say 5.3. Now it's double, right? If you wanna fix this problem, you can again cast it. Brackets, put int, all right. It will be fixed, but if we wanna print it out, to the console, you see it will print 5. Now, when we cast it, it truncated after decimal. Okay, so be careful, especially when you do arithmetic operations, and we will talk about it later videos. Uh, if you want to cast from decimal to non-decimal, it will truncate the after decimal everything. Okay. Hello guys, this is me talking from the future. So I realized that I forgot to mention a case that where we can create a primitive and assigning a null and see the error it showed, uh, and creating a non-primitive and assign the null value. So if we create int number 5 equal null. And one other thing to mention that when I say equal, that doesn't mean I'm comparing or equal sign. It's just assignment operator here, but I don't want to say assignment operator all the time, so it takes longer. I'm just saying equal. All right. So now let's see the error that it's showing when we assign null value to a primitive. It will show you the data type you provided is null, but the required is int. Whereas we whereas if we create a non-primitive type string equals null, it will accept it without any errors. So always we have to give the primitive a value. Now the error is gone. Now let's talk about string. All right, now I'll copy and paste the code. So the string s equal Java. Okay, you see the double quote, which is different than character single quote, as we mentioned before, and it has more than one character. And this is the string literal, and if it is like array of characters. All right, now if we create the array of characters like square brackets and I initialize it to the same values, um, and if we create the new object of string and pass the sh as a parameter, and you don't need to know right now about the parameters, we'll talk about them later in the course. If we print, now you see the output s has the value of Java and st has the value of Java too. So basically both of those values are the same. So string is array of characters. Now let's use some methods under string. As we mentioned, non-primitive type, we can use methods on them to do some operations. Now if you put s dot, you will see a list of methods, all right? And you will see m icon that shows you this is method, all right? Now let's see to uppercase. This method, it will uh, turn everything in the string to uppercase. Now it's showing you a warning because this methods will return a string that converted to uppercase, but you're not using it or it will be ignored. So if we want to use it, you put s out, you just print it to the console. All right, and now type it here. Now run the code. You'll see now Java. So we'll see every letter here in this string is uppercase. Let's use another one. Now let's use char at and pass the index, let's say 3. So this method will return the char, the character at position 3. Okay, let's see what will print. So the position 3 is A. In Java, we start counting from 0. So J is index 0, then A is 1, V is 2, and A is 3. All right, so if I put index 0, it should print J. All right, and you can see that. Now, let's print the size of each primitive type. All right, I copied the code. So as I mentioned before, the output statement in a bracket we'll put like string just to explain what we are printing. Now we will use the object of the type. We'll access the primitive, we will access the constant here divided by 8, and the bytes will be the, like we are printing in bytes, not in bits. Now let's run the code. You see, like byte is 1 byte, short is 2 bytes, int is 4 bytes, as mentioned uh, in the slides. I will do another thing if you are curious and you want to know what is the max values each primitive type will take. You can use the, the following method. Okay, you put and print it to the console. S out. Now put double quotes. Let's try short max value plus will be short object of short dot max value. And if you wanna s out print short min value short, you can access min value. Now let's print them. Now you see short max value is 32,767 and the min value is 32,768. If you want to do the same for int, I'm going to copy here. Let's print a line here so we can see the difference. And line here too. Integer. Now run the code. So the max value is this big number for int, and the min value will be negative this number, all right? And you can try it to the rest, okay? Or let's try another one, all right? Let's try byte, okay? So byte max value is 127 and the min value is 1 minus 128, and this is very small value. I think now you have a very good idea about variables, how they are created, how they work. You can practice yourself by creating new variables, assign new values. You can use the cast. You can try assign different types to the different types so you can see the errors that it will show to you. In the next video, we will be learning about arithmetic operations in Java and the precedent of each of the operation like addition, subtraction, and division, and so. Also, we will be talking about decision making or control flow, like if else statements. Thank you for watching and see you next video.